Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and we're going to go ahead and do the weekly update. It's been a couple weeks, so we have a little bit of backlog. We have quite a few things that we have to go over on what to anticipate. But basically, all you need to know is that there's been a few changes. We're now on Patreon. We don't have Calendly anymore. We also are still on Outlook for our email. We still have Discord. We still have Telegram and Signal. We still have quite a bit of things. We're now on Kick. We are on Twitch. We are on Rumble, and we're on YouTube. But all you need to know is that everything is in this like mindset in the communities and in the Universal Collective as a fix. Everything is a fix and it has to be done. But when you actually go and you spell it and you look at the grammar, it's not spelt right. And you go, what is a DUN? What is a DUN? You can't even change it whatsoever. So when you actually say it, and then they go, no, it's a say, lay, day, nay line. And you go, are you like spiritually connected? You can't even see it coming. And then you actually go CESI, and you go, there it is, there it is. It's not making fun of anyone, but there is a lot, a lot. You can't even believe how hard it is to actually do like any type of growth in like a business or be outward or be true or anything of that nature. And when I say true, when I actually take this die and I go 17, here we go, 62, and then 59. You can't even believe how hard it is to actually get something out. So when you actually get the bots and all of it, they're saying they're talking about you. You can't do anything, and it looks like you're sucking your thumb. You just gotta roll it off your back. It's not a big deal. It happens to everyone trolling. So let's actually see. So we had the Pope, untimely death, as they like to say. It was not anticipated for the Pope to pass away. They did have the conclave, they did have everything that we anticipated. We do have a new Pope. God bless him, and we wish him the best of luck. We do have the ongoings of post elections. We still have the issues with the arrests with the gangs and the cartel. Everything is going forward the way as anticipated. We still have the diplomatic measures. We are still at odds and with the Middle East, but it looks like we're making progress. It really is, it should as it be, but there's still this like ongoing issue about rights. RITES to RIGS T. You can't even spell it right. It's because there's so much interference. But basically, I know it's RIGHTS. And when you can't even do it, it's like all of a sudden you start missing messages and you can't get it together and you can't get anything gone or away. And then you go, there's got to be some hidden motives right here. And then you start getting suspects, and then suspicious. It's like this working of one skill that has to get done. And when you look at it, it has a lot of unrest. I mean, we're really talking about a lot of anti Semitism. We're talking a lot of issues back and forth in like with Palestine. And then you actually see them both side by side and together and apart and the way it is. But the biggest one on the table right now is literally how Harvard can block foreign students right now. It has to talk about this, like what they call like liberation, and we don't understand what liberation actually means. So let's look at the cards because everyone wants to put words in my mouth and they want to stop me, even as a psychic. They just really don't care anymore. And they say, that's not true, that's not true. But it really, they can't even spell it. There's no retainment. You can't even believe it. So there is like this like working together and there's this like working apprenticeship to skill. And it's really something when you look at it, when I see the Empress, there's something not in alignment. It doesn't have to do with feminine energy whatsoever. But when I see it, I actually look at everything to the highest like core of someone. You have to look like it's been foreseen that this would happen down the line. It's not something to remember. It really is bad nostalgia. And it's something we still can't put our finger on, but you can't go it and do it alone. You can't do it alone. And you say, no, like they even said, like there's just some people who could not elevate to the 5D, that the 3G to the 4G to the 3D couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. So when I say it, it goes, there was no prudency, there was no outlook, there was nothing that you could do. So when I say it, it wasn't guarded. It really wasn't. But there was like this type of securement that you see with this King of Pentacles. And when I look at it, it was really strong that actually like solidified and locked it down proper. Because when I see the Knight of Pentacles, it was a smooth, prudent path that actually went, no, I don't think we're done with anything. There was quite a bit of ill justice and other nasty justice coming through, but it had to do with everything that Temperance actually embodies. And it talked about how you could literally have everything together so hard that you could be balanced, even though like you could be just sitting like me in the bedroom so the kids don't come in. Literally. And then all of a sudden it's like you got this new beginning. So what can we anticipate for the week coming forward through June 7th? Right now I would have to say something is just not right. Chaos. There's some sort of chaos coming in. Normal day in America. Let's look at the rooms. What are we looking at right now? So one falls out. It's like new. Something is new. It comes about and it's right there in your face as your daily goings. And you go, I saw this all of a sudden and it's hidden. That's Perth though. It is a game. And when you go about, it's just right there and there's nothing that you can do. And it literally is going to give people a figurative ulcer when you find it. You can't believe it. So when you see it and you see Nadis, it's a type of cutout of a cutout of your daily life all of a sudden. And when you see Lagu, it flows through hard, like with wind current. It flows through wind current. And it's strong when it first starts. You can't believe it at all. When you see this too, Degas, it really is like a solidifier all of a sudden within 3 to 10 days to 3 to 9 months to 3 to 9 days. It all of a sudden like numbers start popping up. So as I see it today on the 23rd, there really is not much of a going on. But when I see tomorrow, as far as Memorial Day, it is as is. I mean, it's raining here in Connecticut. That's normal for Memorial Day. It always rains. So when you actually see this, you can't even go about or have like a proper get together or a picnic. But basically, when you actually look at it, tomorrow is like busybody day. Busybody. 25th is slow down and sit. 26th is like have a picnic, have a get together. And then all of a sudden it's like paperwork slam. Paperwork slam. Then on the 28th, it's a buildup. And then you're having acid reflux because something came in the mail. And then on the 28th, you can't even see it. You can't, like, it's like solid, solidified water where it's not stagnant, where like, has this been sitting for a while? So when you look at it and you go, no, 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 like get rid of it on a 29th, get rid of it. On like Friday, like people, like I'm seeing groups of people actually looking at everything. Everything and anything, something, nothing. Even those of us who are not maybe in law enforcement or military or legal or judicial, any type of those roles, that you sit there and you go, holy cow, you can't even believe it. You can't even believe it. Now, when I see this has to do with like fate. Fate. Fate comes straight from the universe. It's nothing written. There's nothing that you can do. So even like a court case, like something will happen and it'll change an outcome, and there's really nothing that you can do. So when I see this and I look, and it brings this type of like energy of joy within during the next week, and it's strong. It's really, really strong. That's a was. So solidifiers. There's like solidifiers of fate that you can't understand. Like, where did this come from? It's going to cause a little bit of havoc in a lot of people's lives, and they don't know where. So when you look at Kim Kardashian, and she had this court case where it went to the whole extent of something where they were found guilty, but they did not serve any time because they were waiting for their court case, and it counted. There's going to be a freeze on something, a huge freeze. And like I said, the way this rune feels in my hand, it means ill fate. Ill fate. We don't know, and we're not to know the outcome when it's ill fate. All right, what else do we need to know? Let's see as far as politics go. Over the next week, through Memorial Day, what do we need to know about politics? Here we go. Securement, resistance, retribution, alleviation from loss, LOSS. When you see this, difficulty and burden. King of Wands, you actually see this, and it has like this type of dishonor. Doesn't sit well. It's not what you wished for. There was like, when you say no skill, when you say politics, that really means there was no thinking about it. And then all of a sudden there was no logic about it. When you actually see it, there's separations with the Slivers card, like separations, contracts, marriages, like partnerships. And when you see it, you can't move on, but you want to move on. And it is a little bit of turbulent end force, like now. That's why I'm seeing all these tariffs come through. Now it's iPhone. iPhone has tariffs. So then when you see it and you go, it's really weak, really weak. WEEK, WEAK. And then all of a sudden it's WEIK. And you're like, where'd that word come from? And then you're looking around and you have to actually be a little bit more guarded. So people are very adherent all of a sudden, from the lawmakers all the way down to law enforcement to your daily life. They're like, no, HIPAA. No, Privacy Acts. No. And all of a sudden they're doing that. And they're really working all their skill. This is the Magician card all throughout the week. Something is noted. So when I see this and I see the Knight of Pentacles, I'm seeing our past president, President Biden, and his health all of a sudden. Like, it's really, really nasty on how it played out. And when I look at it to the highest extent, it's really not something that you were expecting, but to a degree, because we had been talking about it, and it really hurts a lot of people the way that his health is deteriorating really quickly. But when you see the Seven of Swords, you can't take away anything out of it, which is really rare and strange out of a president who just came out of the office. There's something about justice and legal, and I'm seeing the United States Supreme Court to our state's Supreme Court talking about this. All right, let's look at another deck. Poker cards. What do we need to about law enforcement and military together? Okay, 4 diamonds. There is a type of cutout, and I'm seeing the airports. I'm seeing communications. I'm seeing emails being cut out up to the mail in the post offices. When I see the 5 of clubs, they're groups and gets-togethers. When I see the 2 of clubs, all of a sudden there's 2 that you want to talk to, and then there's 3 that you want to talk to. When you see the ace of spades, it really runs through, like I said, with air current to the ace of clubs, to where everyone said, yep, we have to actually do this. We have to go forward on it. And when you see this queen of spades, you can't even understand how hard it is to actually get a horse on a table to a stable. There's many ways that you can mean, like, with the word horse. So when I actually look at it and I say the 6 of diamonds actually means people come in and they can't talk because they've been yelling, to the 3 of diamonds and they can't even understand it. And you go, where did all the computers go? Where did all the computers go? I mean, we just like went away for a little bit and they're all gone. And it wasn't even like an investigation. It really was like the 4 of spades comes in to the 3 of clubs and you go, oh, you can't even believe it. You can't even believe it, to the 7 of spades. So it is an incomplete 10. But when I see 7 of spades to this and they want to pair it together, 2 spades and a club literally means a lock block. That's a lock block. Ace of diamonds means by Thursday, 2 eyes. You don't see the nose. You don't see anything else. They go forward on it by a Thursday. And I see by to the 10 of spades. Completed cycle. King of diamonds, man, no can do, because you see legal, you see lawyers, you see judicial actually kind of walk in a little bit in their own way, all forms down to probation and parole. And they say the King of Hearts, like, you can't do anything about it because they're at rest, they're at ease, they're really not doing anything. And then you see the 7 of diamonds, you're like, this is really nothing. This is a normal day in America. It really is. There's really nothing to get fearful of. There really isn't. But why is it upticking to upkicking? And there's no play on words on the website kick. So when I see the 7 of hearts, I actually look at it and I have to say it's a double take to worse than deja vu. The 9 of clubs is going to come in and say, no, just put it on the table. Just put it on the table. All right, what do we need to know about schools? What do we need to know about normal politics in the community watches, anything like that? Anything up to entertainment. Everything is like a blow away to a dismiss all of a sudden. Okay, when you see eye and you see wildflowers, there really is nothing to actually be had. Nothing to be had. It's normal day, but something haunts. Something haunts. And when you see it, it really is something about this. Like I keep saying, when I can't get my words out, that means actual mediumship is too hard. It's like patience, repression, and loss. Like they're waiting for something. It's renewal, awakening. When I see it, it's about identities. When I see this, it is like working together. When I see the skull, transition, reality, grief. I feel like there's some revelations in the public that are going to come through that actually you start seeing the real things that happen over years. Not so much with the last presidency, but it really has to do with um, feeling the ability to talk about what really happened. There's something about quiet places of growth, like positive growth in the community. So when I see the wolf and I look and it says it's a calling, it's a great expanse of self without others, there's a community service coming in. When you see cat, untamed self ownership, watching, it had to do with a lot of ways of this type of growth that's going to come into small communities to big city communities, of the way that we saw everything play out, to where when we saw children pedaling in New York and that Department of Social Services to DCF to everything could not get it correct or in, or we find people that had been like in this detrimental like situation for 20 years and nobody per se reported. You can't even like believe how many people will actually step up and say, I think you need to have more eyes. And then, a lot of people just don't want to hear this excuse of it's a free will choice or it was this. But that's why we have mandated reporters. Why would that be coming out with mandated reporters? There's something in the back of the mind that's happened before that has this type of silly humor that can be offensive, and it looks trickery, like they said, in a fool. So when I see this snail, it really means take your time. But what is it also we're trained? We're also trained, and also through the media, is you saw it, you heard it, you felt it, you report it, and you stay away from it. When you see this, it has to do with health, healing. It has to do with using your mind and common sense. That's where the takeaway is. So let's look at another tarot deck, and then we'll look through the crystal quartz and see anything else that we need to know for the rest of the week coming through. There we go. Getting togethers. It looks grandiose. Alleviation of a struggle. No offers on the table. Alleviation of difficulty. At rest. You couldn't even see it coming. This big change came through so hard. It took a lot of strength to get things done. Here we go. Let's see. Let's end it with here. Everything is gone. Everything is a go through. Everything is a be about. And the huge transition of politics, law enforcement, judicial, everything that the way it's supposed to be came in and came through, where you can't even understand or be obscured to anything. So what does that really mean? It really means that you can't actually see it coming. All of a sudden, you are maybe in a court case, like I said, and you see this and you're like, I can't believe it actually weighed out like that. And I got that verdict. I can't even believe that settlement actually came through. Like, it was harsh, heinous. And then where it went and where it stood, you couldn't even believe how hard it was to get anything DONE. So, with that being said, that's all you need to know. With any questions or concerns, leave a like, a comment, a share, an email. It's greatly appreciated, and we will talk to you soon.